All right, Zach, that all sounds pretty good. What is crime like out here? Well, crime is definitely something we need to talk about. I'll flash this graph up real quick, and as you can see, the orange line is Leavenworth bouncing across the top of the graph. And then we have Kansas, and we have the US kind of bouncing across the bottom of this graph. So the crime rate is high. And I will say, I live, 20 minutes from here, and I don't hear it on the news that Leavenworth is high crime, but the graph says it. I've looked at a couple different websites, and they all kind of point to that. So I don't know. There is, we do have the state or the United States penitentiary here, right? And there is a lot of bad people in there, and violent crime is what that graph was. So I don't know if they're including that. In fact, not only is there the major Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary, the U.S. Penitentiary right there, there's also a total of 5 prisons and some correction facilities in Leavenworth. I don't know why it's a hub for bad people, but man, they got some buildings here with razor wire. And I'm not saying that it's like unsightly. I mean, the houses right across the street from the penitentiary are like crap. Nobody wants to stare at that. But you don't really, it's on this far north side of town. There is the 92 highway that goes in front of it, but from that you turn off, everybody's going south towards their home or towards downtown or way down south. So it's not, that wouldn't bother me. You just wouldn't want to be across the street from it. And it's not like people are breaking out of prison every day and running down the streets and breaking into houses. So I don't think that's it. But so I don't know. I'm just curious if they are now considered permanent residents of Leavenworth because they're in Leavenworth. And that's why the crime rate's so high, because I don't hear about it on the news any more than my own town that has favorable crime ratings. And I certainly don't feel it. Every time I've been out here, it's been great. I'm not walking around here in the middle of the night typically, but I don't know. So take that with a grain of salt. Everybody's got a different definition for crime, obviously, so you can look more into that. And maybe I'll try to get to the bottom of that too. I never really, until we started doing these videos, really focused on crime rates, but people coming from out of town, it's a big deal, so we started to focus on that. And this is the only one that feels off to me based on, just living around this area. But that's the numbers, and I'm not gonna lie, so I wanna show you guys what's going on. And if the numbers don't lie, then there is high crime out here, but it certainly doesn't feel that way to me. So that's crime rate in Leavenworth. All right, so what's there to do out here, Zach? We got all that out of the way. I mean, look, there's just shops forever. Like I said, this is, hold it up high. A lot to do right down here, but outside of that, there's over 25, Leavenworth County has over, or Leavenworth Parks and Regs has over 25 parks that they maintain. There's an aquatic center, there's pools, splash parks, water slides, all that kind of stuff for the kids. There's a couple museums. In fact, the 8th wonder of the world, according to somebody, there is a carousel museum here that is just at the end of the street. I'm not going in there because I get dizzy and get sick, but that's there. There's the Riverfront Park here, there's a community center, golf courses. So there really is a lot going on just right in this area. As you go further south, you're gonna get to nicer golf courses. We've also got the Carroll Mansion, which is a famous mansion out here. There's Snow Creek, so just across the river onto the Missouri side is our little mountain. Kansas City has a little mountain, and we blow snow on it on the winter. It's got ski lifts and all that stuff, believe it or not. It's even if you are a mountain guy like me, and like I head out to Colorado a lot from all my mountain fun, but if you get the Epic Pass, Snow Creek is even on the Epic Pass, so you can get free lifts and just lap that place. It gets busy, it gets icy. I'm kind of a snow snob now in my older age, so it takes a really magical moment of almost slush for me to get out there and enjoy myself without breaking my neck. But you've got it. It's a great resource for kids, especially living here in this Silicone Prairie that we do. To be able to have access to that in the winter time and take the kids out and show them a good time on the mountain. Oh, and then of course we talked earlier about the Legend shopping area, which is about 25 minutes from here, just straight south, which is all that new stuff, the Speedway, the professional soccer team, the casino, the nightlife, and even from there, you're just another 10, 15 minutes into downtown for the big events, Chiefs games, Royals games, and concerts, and all that kind of stuff. So lots going on. All right, so let's get to probably some of the best parts about Leavenworth in my opinion, and I think you'll probably agree. Pretty sweet. So the average income out here is coming right in at 63,000, where I think the U.S. national average is 69,000. And then with that, we've got some amazing price points. So our average price point for the county, or the median price point for that big 400-mile area that we talked, square mile area we talked about, that's coming in right at 300 on the dot. Over 1,000 properties sold. This is directly from our multiple listing service in the last 12 months, and it's $300,000 on the dot, which is coming in, I think, at $152 a square foot when I took the average sales price and the average square footage. So pretty sweet there. And as we move in just on Leavenworth, the city, the 24 square miles, the average sale price is $220,000. So that is freaking incredible. I don't care who you are. That is a great price point. I mean, the Kansas City average price point kind of fluctuates between $330 and $350. So we're coming in at $220 to live down here. I'm just kind of looking around. I've got all kinds of, I'm at a cool spot right now with a lot of architecture and art, but those price points are amazing. And that puts it, I had a graph that I was going to pull up that had this at in the 80th percentile for cost of living. And I think that's a total fallacy. They had a miscellaneous number in there at like 120%. So I'm gonna guess this is coming in right around 60 or 70% of the national average when you factor in all the other things like utilities, gas. You're still gonna have to have a car here. Public transportation's not really a thing in the Kansas City area unless you're right downtown. So, but all that aside, to be able to get in this area in a nice house, decent square footage for, you know, $126 a square foot, you know, pretty unbelievable. So that is probably my favorite part about Leavenworth, Kansas, the property prices. Hey, so to recap before we go look at some houses here, you know, all in all, I guess schools are okay. Crime is up, not exactly sure why yet. Maybe it's because all these prisons, there is a prison town. All right, let's talk about some jobs and some job opportunities in Leavenworth and what might bring you here. Well, obviously, if you're in the military, that might bring you here. If you are retired from active duty, there are lots of military jobs here that kind of help support the base. So you can still get on board with that. Look, we're going by an Army surplus store right now. So there's lots of opportunities with that. There's also Hallmark cards. So I like to say Christmas cards and prison bars. That's kind of what I think of when I think of Leavenworth. But we've got Hallmark cards is here, which is a major employer. The school systems were always going to be, there's hospital systems. So if you're in the medical field, you'd be able to find plenty of opportunities there. Walmart, some of the bigger grocery store chains are going to employ a lot of people. A couple manufacturing plants, but in a whole, you know, Fort Leavenworth is the #1 major employer of all things Leavenworth. So kind of those things we just mentioned are going to be your top employers for the area that we find most people there. All right, before we go look at houses, I do want to make a couple stops. I want to go down to the river and just show you the riverfront park, because I think it is pretty sweet and definitely one of those benefits. It's just a couple blocks from the shopping district, so definitely something, you know, if you're down here grabbing a bite to eat or a drink, go take a walk at the river, come back, and you know, it's definitely one of those things you're going to experience. And then we're going to drive down one of these roads with some of these houses that have the historic houses I'm talking about that you could, there's none on the market right now, but we'll have the plaques. But maybe I can find one that I can just pop up real quick just so you can see what those streets look like. And then we're going to go look at some houses that are actually for sale right now, see what you can afford, all the different price points, and make it a wrap from there. So let's do it. All right, so here we are down at Leavenworth Landing, which is the riverfront park. They've got a nice parking lot right over there. You can also just walk. It was only about 4 or 5 blocks from where I was when we were walking around the downtown area, but nice little river walk. We've got the Missouri River. On that side is Missouri. Over here is Kansas. That's pretty much it. I did want to show you a shot of the little bridge that's coming over. It's kind of cool and iconic. I don't know if you can see it all the way down there. Let me get a, of course there's this big old tree in my way. Kind of pop in There's the kind of cool little bridge. We had some B-roll when we were driving over that earlier, but that is the bridge right into Leavenworth. And then this big building behind me, I think this was the old train depot. 1919 is when it was built and constructed. And that's kind of now the city's kind of the Y or the gym. They've got all kinds of gym facilities in there, swimming pool, gymnastic classes, classes for kids, karate, all that kind of stuff. They have a great website that's got all those details on all the things you can get involved with, but community center, that's the word I was looking for. So a nice historic building. You can rent space in there to do different things too and throw dinners and parties, but a great event and community center just right down here that then flows down to the Riverfront Park. I don't know how far it goes that way, probably a mile or so, and not too much further that way, but a lot of space. There is an active train that'll run through here. So you get the, while you're hanging out downtown, you kind of, hear the train go by, and I don't know, something about being on the river, hearing the train go by, just takes me back to the old days. But that's kind of how that's set up down here. Let's go, here's a good representation. You see that? So, Missouri, boom, drop the bridge. All right, so I told you I wanted to drive you by this neighborhood that has some super cool older homes where it's really nice, yada, 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 where some of the historic plaques are out. So we're gonna go down that street right now. And as you can see, we've got like a tree tunnel. We're gonna just point this out the side. You can get an idea of some of these super cute little homes, just a street full of nice properties, big trees. So there is a couple blocks like that, and a couple areas like this in the Leavenworth area. So look at this one, beautiful. So if that's what you're into, we've got these options available. There's a nice little one right there too. Anyway, beautiful spots close to downtown. They're just far and few between right now, and I don't have any active properties to show you. So we'll kind of do a drive-by for now, but just so you know that stuff exists. Still walkable, bikeable if you need to get to downtown or the river, and not too far from the high school either. All right, here we are at our first house. It's actually coming right up there, walking down the street. We are just south and just a little bit west, maybe 15, 20 blocks from that 4th Street in Cherokee, kind of that downtown area. So we're still in the older grid, some of the more original homes to the Leavenworth area. So I'll kind of pan around so you can kind of see the whole street is kind of laid out like this. We have beautiful mature trees that are right in the middle of fall. So some beautiful colors going on right now. But I mean, some of the tree tunnels, like, it's old, we've talked about it. If you're driving down some of these roads, just the tunnel of trees and all the beautiful colors is pretty cool. But you will notice that there's no sidewalks, any of that stuff. There's parking in the streets. Most people are parking in the streets. There is some off-street. There is a kind of an alley out back that you can park in with a garage on this one. But let's get right to it. With this house, we are priced at $229, so pretty sweet price point for the Kansas City area, and right in there for Leavenworth. Fresh paint on the outside, brand new roof, newer HVAC system. I love this house. Is super charming. Look at that arched doorway right there. It just kind of reminds me of a Hobbit house, and that continues. We'll show you some photos of the inside. That continues as a theme through the interior of the house too. This is coming in at 2,700 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 1 full bath, and that's probably the main reason that it's still on the market and hadn't sold already. 1 bath in a house that size is pretty tough, especially if you've got all your bedrooms full. So you might put that in the budget if this house is right for you. But anyway, with that besides, you get the 1-car garage out back. Just beautiful, gleaming hardwoods. Almost all these homes are going to be hardwoods, kind of that craftsman construction. Back in the day, this was built in 1935, so they're probably still using hand saws and doing all the miters by hand and jigsaws. So really cool woodwork that you'll find in these homes. But with these older homes, you're still going to come into that plaster. We talk about that a lot. Plaster, knob and tube, some of this outdated wiring. So you got to have a stomach for it, but the character is sometimes worth it. So anyway, that's kind of what you can get. This one also has a finished basement, carpet down there, and just lots of space. So that's what you can get right now for $229. That's coming in at $83 a square foot. Holy cow. I don't think I've done a video yet on this channel where we had something that was this nice coming in at $83 a square foot. So you can just see your money goes a long way here in Leavenworth. All right, let's go check out house number 2. All right, here we are at house number 2. We are just northwest of Leavenworth, of the downtown area. And this house is coming in right at $285. It is a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath home. It's coming in right at 2,300 square feet. This does have an unfinished basement, so you're gonna have more square footage down there. Completely unfinished, so room for storage. You can finish out the space to have more room. But that's what you're gonna find in the basement. Outside you can see we've got vinyl siding, so this is kind of maintenance free. They put a new deck on the back. The backyard is amazing. We are standing in a cul-de-sac right now. I'll kind of pan around so you can see the neighborhood, but there is sidewalks here, mailboxes. Everybody's got their yard real nice. We are in fall right now, beautiful fall day. Actually, it's a little cloudy, but the neighborhood's nice, quiet street, quiet neighborhood. And this is that neighborhood. We are, like I said, northwest of downtown Leavenworth. And it's kind of another grid setup like the downtown area, but back in the 50s, kind of post-war. So a lot of ranches here, and then we've got raised ranches and some newer builds as it's been infilled. But this is kind of the neighborhood that gives me the feeling, kind of like the movie Sandlot. On the way out, I'll take some B-roll shots. We can see there's baseball fields out here. There's a couple of the homes have been converted into restaurants or bars or little grocery stores, convenience stores on kind of the main drags. There's batting cages, so that's just kind of the vibe. It's pretty flat through here. It is a grid with sidewalks, so you can pretty much walk. The community college is just over there. We've got schools that direction, so just easy to get around this part, kind of close to everything. And if you're living at the base or you're gonna be working at the base, I mean, that's less than 1.5 miles away too, so easy access to all those things. This house, like I said, 2,300 square feet at $285, so that's coming in right around $120 a square foot. And we'll flip some pictures up so you can see, but it is a 1.5 stories, which means you get the master on the main level. The other 3 bedrooms are upstairs, and just set up really nice. So for $285, $120 a square foot, that's one of the sweet things about Leavenworth and that price point. All right, let's take off and look at house number 3. All right, so here we are at our last house. This one is coming in right at $375. This is new construction in a newer neighborhood, and we've got lots of new construction going on behind us too. In fact, we're just on the south and a little bit west side of that kind of downtown area, probably 15 minutes from that downtown Cherokee 4th Street area. Out in the cornfield, I don't know if you can see the corn back there, but that's harvested corn, cut corn. And we've got these ranch homes, new construction ranch. We are in a subdivision that's fairly new, but they've added a whole nother phase as I kind of pan around this way. You can see that we're continuing to go back all this way. Lots of new construction going on all over the street. But these that are coming in right at that price point we just talked about are ranch style homes. So where everything's on that main level, and then these have beautiful vaulted ceilings. Everything's up to date, modern, all the new stuff, but covered patios, outback, vaults. They are 3 bedrooms, both of these 3 bedrooms, 2 bath ranches coming in right at 1,700 square feet with the 2-car garage on the front. So that's coming in right around $211 a square foot for new construction. So a pretty sweet price point in a neighborhood. We're kind of down on the newer side. We kind of talked about that as you go south through Leavenworth and start to go out, you get into some newer construction, and it's just kind of how the city has grown. So that's where we're at. And Walmart is just literally around the corner. If you are at the base or you're working at the base and you get there, it's probably 15, maybe 20 minutes away from here, probably closer to 15, easy drive. So lots of amenities and neighborhood stuff. The HOA out here is $150 a year, so really not too bad at all. Almost negligible, but yeah, that's what you can get for a beautiful ranch house. And I will say there are lots of acreage opportunities. Most of our clients, majority of the people are looking for the suburby kind of neighborhood feel, so we're kind of focused on that. But we did a vlog earlier in the spring about Leavenworth as well, where we went out and we looked at some of that estate style lots with the bigger houses getting closer. I think it was almost $1 million. So just to see what you can get if you want to get outside of this and really get some bang for your buck out in the country. Leavenworth is huge, so lots of opportunities here, but that's this neighborhood and this price point for new construction. There's still lots of new stuff, even up from this 4, 5, 6. It's equally as nice, just more square footage and bigger and newer little pockets all around here. So they've had a lot of growth on the south end here recently. But anyway, that's kind of what you can expect. And like always, hey, I really appreciate you guys watching these things. We get comments from people all the time about how much they love these videos and how much it's helped them. So that really finds a nice warm spot in my heart. So I hope this does the same for you. And if it is, please give us a like. Remember to subscribe, that helps us too. And if you're a giving person, even give us that 5-star review. But really, this is all about you and your goals. So when you're ready, reach out. We'll have that conversation with you, kind of help you hone in on what you're looking for and help you make that decision and find that neighborhood for you and your family. In the meantime, remember, you've got a friend and some friends in the business, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.